Good morning. I am here in my beautiful backyard with all these beautiful plants, and I want to talk to you guys about oxygen. One of the main things that we need to survive. We need oxygen in our lungs, we need oxygen in our cells, and we get it from plants, from what we breathe. We get it with our foods. Alkaline foods have oxygen, all the greens have oxygen, and we need all of that to survive. Now, 2020 came to rob us from that oxygen, which is the coronavirus. And I will say those words in my platform because I'm already censored. Every time I post a video, it says that it cannot be shared because it has other people's content and they're just videos of me talking. So I understand that I'm being monitored. So the only way this video will get out is if you share the message, because it doesn't really matter the messenger, it matters the message, right? So again, 2020 came and coronavirus did exactly that. It affects our lungs, our oxygen, and we can't breathe without oxygen. So that's what it was doing. And not only that, but at the same time, most people were affirming that they could not breathe because of the situation that was happening in the world, right? And they were chanting it. So when you confirm it to yourself, you're now accepting that you cannot breathe. And along with the virus, now what's happening? We have a lack of oxygen. And another thing, even if people recovered from the coronavirus, now those people that I know directly are now being affected by the side effects of the coronavirus, which is they have a lack of oxygen in their cells, so they have blackouts, like where they can't see. They start getting palpitations, and those are all the side effects, all the residue of what this virus did. Now, that's the problem. We all know the problem. And I come on these videos to not just share the problem, but share the solution, right? Because what's we can all point fingers and say this is what's happening, but there has to be a solution. And the solution is to know your body, know your temple, okay? When you know the workings of your body, then you could make the best decision for your body. And when you go directly to start with self, then now you can make the best decisions for yourself. So we start with what we put in our body, what we don't put in our body. I mean, I've been talking about intermittent fasting for a while now, and fasting is even in the Bible. So it's a good thing spiritually, but it's a good thing to detox the body. So, I had a friend, my ex-coach. She told me, Nora, I've heard of intermittent fasting so many times, but nobody explained it to me like you did. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm trying to explain it to you the way I understood it. And I share this with you guys because God has worked with me or through me, however you want to put it, since day one. So now I understand why I only went to the ninth grade. I didn't graduate. And even though I was eager to learn, I didn't go to school only until the ninth grade. I actually thought that money was my way out of my situation. So I started working at a very young age and I left school. So I never understood like very big terms. I didn't educate myself until later on in life when I had time, to pick up a book and really start to look into truth, traveling and seeing things for my own self. So again, I go back to how I explained it. So I explained it the way someone put it in plain terms where I could understand it. Someone that only had a ninth grade education, okay? And so fasting, and I have videos just on fasting, but I just come here again to explain how the body works. We want to fast, we want to get rid of all the toxins. And when you do the intermittent fasting, when you have your insulin at that low point, when you haven't eaten for 16 hours, then your body's starting to process all those excess toxins, right? So again, I have videos just on fasting, but I want to get back to the oxygen. So what we put in our body, what we breathe is so important. Our skin is the biggest organism we have, and it's a bunch of little cells, like little satellite cells that absorb everything. So we absorb, anything, any chemicals that you might have around. That's why I don't use pesticides. I use everything natural because I'm out here and I'm breathing it, and I want to get the purest oxygen. Again, that's a solution. Get 20 minutes outside, get that oxygen, and take in that sun. That's going to give you these vitamins that nothing else can give you naturally, right? And the other thing is foods. So again, a lot of people don't like greens, and a lot of the time that you don't like greens, it's because your body's so acidic, it rejects it. It doesn't want to be fixed. The acid wants to take over your body. So it's difficult. A fun fact, if you don't like cilantro, that is a one, like, for a fact that if you don't like cilantro, your body's very acidic. So you either love it or hate it, and that tells you in your wellness and how much acidic acid you have in your body. So fun fact. So what do you have to do if you don't like it? What do you do? Well, for me, and again, I'm not selling you anything. Every time I come out on these videos, I just share what I do and what has worked for me. And that's it. So, and if you're interested, you can DM me and I can show you. So, sleep is very, very crucial. And besides oxygen, right, we need to sleep, we need to eat well, we need to get the sunlight. It's a whole combination, it's a whole balance, right? So sleep is very, very crucial. They've done many studies. Even they did an experiment when it's a horrible experiment. I actually watched the documentary, and they prevented people from sleeping, and they literally went crazy, and it's very, very gruesome, so I'm not even going to go into it, but if you want to, you can look it up. Lack of sleep experiment from, it was the Germans that did that experiment. Anyway, so lack of sleep is not good, so you need to sleep. And in order to sleep correctly, you need these minerals that the body needs. It doesn't really need vitamins, it needs minerals. The body needs 102 minerals to be 100%, right? So how do we do that? You would need to eat a lot of greens, a lot of alkaline food, and we don't really consume that much. Most people have they eat all this protein, very little carbs, or a lot of carbs, but very little vegetables, and you're going to get the most alkaline from your greens. So I take Boost at night, and this is from Life and Secret. I found this product, or the product found me, and it literally has everything that I used to consume from different companies. Like my digestives, what I would take for sleep, what I would take for recovery. It was always different companies. This company is amazing because it is 100% vegan. So the Boost, I take that at night. I take 4 of those, and they're just minerals that are going to let you sleep in a good state. It's going to alkaline your body, so you don't have all that acidic stuff in your body. So I take that. And then I take the recovery. Recovery is oxygen for your cells. And how do we get that? We get it from minerals. So it's very important minerals that we need. And I like to take this kind of in the middle of my day after I work out, because it helps my body recover, and then I don't feel all the aches and pains from working out. So I take 2 of those during the day. And then of course digestives, they're vegan, and they're all plant-based, so they're natural enzymes, and that breaks down your food, all those carbs that you eat, all those fats, all those sugars. It breaks it down to the smallest form, into the aminos, which the aminos turn into muscle, guys, and that's what we want to keep. Anything else, we just want to let go. So I take the digestives. And then the greens. These are just green capsules, which I love because I can drink the greens in water, but I already drink a lot of water in tea. I'm good with that. So if I can take it in a pill form, this is amazing and easy. And I fast every single day. Sundays, I take the day off because I brunch with my family. So it's always about balance. And again, I come here just to share truth and knowledge, love, because when we all have the truth and we all know the knowledge, then we're all equal and we can make the best decision for ourselves. Because remember that we have will. God gave us will, so we make the decision, but everything has a consequence. So if you eat a bunch of crap, your body's going to take note, even though you didn't. A bunch of trash, as you know, I had an awakening, and if you read my book, you probably know a little bit if you followed me as well. But I was reminded in 2013 what my mission in the world was, because we tend to forget. We come here as babies and we know what our mission is, but then our dads and our moms start, you know, how can I say it? They start giving us their teachings, and their teachings are not our truth. And then society, and then school. So we start to conform ourselves to something that was not our mission in life. We start becoming this other, this person of the world, and that's what happened to me. But I was reminded in 2013 that we're eating trash, and that's my mission. My mission is to remind everyone that our bodies are temples. So it's like whatever we put in, that's what we will become. So the message was that in 2013 that the world is eating trash. We're not eating the organic foods that we were once eating, and that we're going to make us function to the 100%. Right now, we're literally being poisoned by food and by the oxygen we breathe, because it's polluted. And we can fight all that, but we have to fight it with what we put in our body. Again, when we know that truth, then our body works correctly. Because remember, we are the soul. We are the heart. That's who we are. The body is just the temple that holds it together. The brain, which is our computer, is always doing, it's downloading and keeping all our memory, but it's doing three things constantly. And this is a very fun fact, because when we know how our brain works, we know how to start to maneuver it. It's like knowing how to work your own computer. So your brain does three things at all times. It's comparing, it's measuring, and it's explaining, it's describing. So it's always doing those three things to try to come up with a solution. So it's up to you what you actually start to focus on when ideas and things, and you start comparing, because that's what we do as human beings. When we start to do that in our brain, we have to stop and take note of what's going on in our brain, and remember that we absorb everything. So our thoughts are not us. So sometimes we get these thoughts and you're like, where do these thoughts come from? Well, I'll give it to you very plain and simple. It's like when we're looking at Instagram, right? It has like an algorithm, right? So if you focus on let's say bodybuilding, I'm going to start getting all these feeds of bodybuilding, right? Because I'm focusing on that. The brain does the same thing. Kind of like when you buy a car, you buy a certain car, a certain color, and now all of a sudden you're starting to see that same car in that same color. It's kind of like all of this is in The Secret. It's a book and it's also a movie, but it's again, it's taking notes. So we, as the soul family, the love family, who we truly are, we want to focus on the wonders of the life, not the wounds, not the bad, not the negative. We want to focus on the positive. I heard this the other day, that the world is wounds and wonders. You focus, you decide where you want to glance, and you decide where you want to focus on and gaze into, so it's up to you what you want to grow. Another good way of putting it is, an Indian story, a native story, I should say, is, a man has two wolves. One is, very, not evil, but very aggressive, and the other one's very calm. And, which one are you going to feed? Whichever one you're going to feed is going to grow. And it's the same thing within us. So whatever you focus on, that's what's going to grow. So it starts with, everything, what we put in our body, our thoughts, what we listen to, what we surround ourselves. So again, when we know how the body works,